Good morning and welcome to the magnificent terminus here at London Paddington railway station. And today you join me for a day out on the Thames Branches using a Ranger ticket. And this ticket essentially gives us unlimited travel between Paddington and Reading, including all of the Thames Branches on GWR and Elizabeth line services. It's sure to be a fun day out with lots of train travel, as well as some exploration of the towns and villages along the line. So it's time to head over to the ticket office, but whilst I do that, here's a little more information on the Ranger ticket itself. The Thames Branches Day Ranger is a ticket which allows unlimited travel for one day between London, Paddington and Tilehurst, including the branch lines to Greenford, Windsor and Eton, Marlow and Henley-on-Thames. And having decided to buy tickets on the day rather than online via the GWR website, we went over to the ticket office at Paddington and purchased our Rangers, costing us £17.30 with a standard rail card and £13 with a young person's rail card. So, with tickets in hand, we immediately made our way down to Elizabeth line platforms A and B to catch one of the half-hourly services bound for Reading, which would take us out to Slough.
Oyster is not valid beyond West Drayton.
And making sure to take the all-important shot of my matching Elizabeth line maquette socks, we emerged out of the main tunnel section between Canary Wharf and Old Oak before making our first stop at Ealing Broadway.
We are now arriving at Southall. The next station is Langley.
"28 minutes later, we had reached our first destination of Slough, having just enough time to admire the beautifully unique architecture of the station buildings dating from 1882, before heading down to the bay platform to catch the shuttle service down to Windsor and Eton Central.
See it, say it, sort it. CCTV and body-worn cameras.
With departure bang on time, we soon began the short yet scenic 6-minute journey down the 2-mile-long branch line. Originally opened in 1849 as a broad gauge line before being standardised in 1862, the branch from Slough to Windsor features Brunel's Windsor Railway Bridge, crossing the River Thames, and is supported by a brick-built viaduct on each approach, giving excellent views over the imposing Windsor Castle as we approach the station terminus. Arrival into Windsor and Eton Central is on the now truncated Platform 1, with clear evidence remaining of the much larger and grander royal terminus that the station once was. The station seen today is the result of a complete rebuild during the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria, featuring a grand royal waiting room, 2 island platforms, as well as 1 bay platform on the south side. Having been reduced to just a single track station by 1969, the building now serves as an upmarket shopping centre, but is certainly still an amazing survivor of Victorian construction. We've now made it into Windsor, coming into Windsor and Eton Central Station, which you will have just seen, and it is an amazing station. Even though it's only got 1 platform, most of it is now the Royal Shopping Centre, so it was nice to have a look around there, and I think we're going to go back and have a bit longer in there. But for now, we're going to walk over the Thames. Obviously it is the Thames Branches Day Ranger, and we're going to find a place to eat, and then we've probably got a couple of hours here, slightly less, before we head back to Slough and onwards to the next branch. Windsor is of course famous for its royal castle, dating from the 11th century with its imposing curtain walls towering over the town. However, due to our short time here today, we decided to leave the crowds behind us, taking a stroll past the South Western Railway Station at Windsor and Eton Riverside before heading over the Thames to the town of Eton itself. And being nearly lunchtime, we headed to a small independent coffee shop on the high street for a small bite to eat before taking a further look up the historic high street and around the famous Eton College. Dating from 1440, when it was established by Henry VI, Eton College is now synonymous with the education of no less than 20 prime ministers, as well as various members of the royal family. Having crossed the Thames, we've made it into Eton itself, and we've been having a look around the school buildings, and they're just so ornate and historic. It's a different world, and yeah, it's quite strange being here. So we're going to have a look around, cross back over the river, and then head into Windsor itself before taking the train back up to Slough for the next part of our journey to Marlow. So following my very rough plan, we started to walk back past the castle and towards Windsor and Eton Central to retrace our steps up to Slough. And once again, we'd be travelling on one of GWR's two-car Class 165s, certainly a running theme across all of today's Thames branches. We're now back at Slough Station, and this is the 12:54 service, which will take us down to Maidenhead, where the branch to Marlow begins. For the journey onwards from Slough, we'd be travelling on one of GWR's Class 387s, operating a stopping service out to Didcot Parkway.
This is a Great Western Railway service to Didcot Parkway.
Decided to have a quick change of plan whilst on this service, so rather than going to Marlow via a half an hour stop at Maidenhead, we're going to carry on to Twyford, where the branch to Henley-on-Thames starts. Have a quick change there, head down to Henley, have half an hour in the town itself, and then head back to Marlow for the third branch of the day. And basically that just cuts down our connection time at Maidenhead. Of course, being a stopping service, we were no match for the high-speed GWR intercity services off on their way down to the southwest. However, we were still making perfectly fast progress, with arrival into Twyford just 12 minutes later, giving us plenty of time to cross the footbridge over to platform 5 for our waiting 3-carriage Class 165 down to Henley. Once again, seating is laid out in a compact 3+2 configuration, perfectly fine for the short branch line shuttle services which these trains operate so well.
The next station is Henley-on-Thames. This is a Great Western Railway service to Henley-on-Thames.
And after that short autumnal journey down the so-called regatta line, we had made it once more down to the waters of the River Thames. Known for its world-famous Royal Regatta, Henley offers more than just rowing, and coming on a day like this really lets you appreciate the peace and tranquility of the town with its beautiful Georgian bridge, as well as plenty of other historic buildings. We're just taking a wander around the beautiful town of Henley-on-Thames, and it's a shame we only have half an hour here due to the timetables, because it is such a nice peaceful place. I'm sure it wouldn't be on regatta days, but on a November weekend it's actually really nice just to wander around. So I think we're going to head up to the marketplace, have a look around at a couple of the stalls before heading back to the station for the 2 o'clock train down to Twyford. Soon we had made it back to the station, just in time for our 1400 departure. So, whilst we wait to depart, let's have a look at the map to see the part of our journey to Marlow. Starting from Henley, we once again make 2 intermediate stops at Shiplake and Wargrave before changing onto another stopper service at Twyford. After the short hop down to Maidenhead, we change for the branch up to Marlow with its peculiar reversal at Bourne End before tracing the banks of the Thames into the town itself.
The next station is Twyford.
With just an 8-minute change, we made our way up to the end of the platform with just enough time to watch some trains speed through before our service arrived in the form of another Class 387. Once more, upon arrival, there was the familiar sight of a Class 165 ready and waiting to take us up the branch line to our destination. Shortly after departure from the beautiful Cookham station, we crossed over the Thames yet again on the approach to Bourne End, where our train reverses up the branch to Marlow. Once a busy junction on the line to High Wycombe, since closure of this route in 1970, Bourne End has effectively become a through station, requiring a quick change of cabs for the crew before forming the so-called Marlow Donkey Shuttle. The origins of the term are unclear, but is now commemorated by a local pub of the same name, which we'll see later on. We're now at Marlow, and it's a tiny little town on the Thames, but the good thing about this Thames Branches Ranger ticket is that it's shown us all these different towns that we wouldn't have otherwise been to. And what's nice about it is, despite the trains being the same and being quite repetitive, actually all the journeys have shown us different scenery along the way, and each town is unique in its own special manner. So we're going to have a walk around the town itself, walk down to the river, of course, because this is the Thames Branches Day Ranger, and see what Marlow has to offer. Despite the grey November weather, Marlow turned out to be an absolutely beautiful place to spend a couple of hours by the river. So after having a quick look around Marlow Lock, we walked through the churchyard over to the magnificent Marlow Suspension Bridge. Opened in 1832 to a design by the civil engineer William Tierney Clark, this magnificent bridge is famous for being a smaller scale version of the chain bridge spanning the River Danube in Budapest, which was opened 8 years later in 1840. Having had dinner in the town centre, we headed back to Marlow station past the pub and boarded our trusty 165 to take us up to Maidenhead. As you can see, we are back at Maidenhead. It was a very tight connection at Marlow, so we had to quickly dash for our train, but we made the 5 o'clock service and we're now waiting on platform 4 for a direct service back to London Paddington, which will be the final service for today's Ranger ticket. For the final time, we boarded another Class 387, taking us back to London Paddington in just 30 minutes.
Is in operation at this station for the
So now that we're back at London Paddington, that concludes today's vlog, and overall it was a really enjoyable day out using Thames Branches Ranger. So if you ever have the opportunity or a free spare day, come down to Paddington, buy a ticket and just hop on the trains. So thank you for watching, hopefully I will see you next time, and goodbye for now.